Welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, your weekly dose of strategies and mindset tools to build a business in alignment with your purpose and to get you playing a bigger game. I'm your host, Nicole Lano. Hello and welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole Lano, and we're here with a little mini episode for you today. And today I'm sharing with you one of my favorite tips for breaking patterns. Now, patterns, the way that I look at them is I look at patterns as it's a pattern of behavior. And what we're all operating under to some degree is autopilot. We're on autopilot. And our job, the first job, is to come off of autopilot, to stop operating just because the wiring is there, the conditioning is there, the habits are there, and to start becoming intentional and aware of what's going on. And we can start doing that in a number of ways. Now, one of the things that I love and why I use human design is it tells us where those patterns might be, what your patterns are most likely going to be. And it allows us to kind of surgically go in and look at it in a very strategic way and say, oh, I see this little thing here, or I notice this pattern here. So if you haven't already, please download our deconditioning guide because this will go very well with this episode and what I'm going to share with you here. So you can go to nicolelano.me/decondition. And you can download that free guide. We also have another one on productivity, which is the same, nicolelano.me/productivity. If you're interested in how to use your human design to be more productive and in flow. But the deconditioning guide is going to go really well with this episode. So if you haven't already downloaded it, please go and do that. This is going to help. So the tip I have for you about breaking your patterns and why human design is such a great tool for this. You're going to use that guide and you're going to see what your patterns are most likely. Follow the directions in that guide and you're going to see these are kind of my patterns. These are going to be the areas that I'm most likely to be pulled off track. So you might have a goal, you might have something that you're going after, but if you're not aware of the automatic program that you are running, I look at it like an operating system. We are computers, but it isn't necessarily our brain that's being rewired, although that's part of it. It's our energy, and it's this automatic way that we are behaving. And while it is tied to the brain, it's not all about the brain. It's not all about rewiring those beliefs. It's about starting to notice what's happening and to no longer go down that path. So we have automatic programs that run. When this happens, do this. That is ultimately what your brain is doing. That's ultimately what you are doing automatically. That's the autopilot. Now we have to interrupt that pattern. And we can do that by bringing a pattern to mind. To say, like, I notice this, I am no longer, and this is the question I want you to ask yourself. I want you to declare this, but I want you to ask yourself first, what am I no longer available for? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. What am I no longer available for? Am I no longer available for stress? Am I no longer available for people pleasing? Am I no longer available for playing small? Am I no longer available for overworking and undercharging? This is how you can first notice what it is that is driving you toward more of the same rather than what you want. And when you can start asking yourself that question and start following it, what it does is if you say that I'm no longer available for people pleasing, you're bringing it to the front of your mind. You're taking it from being an automatic program and you're bringing it to the front. You're saying, I recognize that this is something that I do. And people pleasing has several places that it lives in the chart, in your human design chart. It can be from an open emotional solar plexus. It can be from an open G center. It can be from an open ego. All of these can have some people pleasing elements to them. But if people pleasing is the thing that you're recognizing you have a pattern with, that it's something that's holding you back, that's causing you to get more of the same rather than what you are actually striving for, then you're taking it from that automatic program that's just running completely under the surface without your knowledge and without your consent. and you're bringing it to the front. So you're going to start noticing people pleasing. You're going to start noticing more when you do it, and you're going to be able to stop yourself. You're going to be able to interrupt that pattern. But it starts with you recognizing something where, like, I am no longer available for this. I am no longer available. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be about you. You can be not available for toxic clients. What is it going to do? Well, that would be tied to a pattern that you have as well. Maybe of saying yes to people because you're afraid that the next one won't be right behind it, that it might be the only chance that you have of getting a client. So you'll sign up, you'll sign on with people who are not really aligned for you, or will be energy vampires, or will give you a hard time about paying. You'll allow that. And that is part of people pleasing as well. And you can dig deeper into that. Of course, the work is deeper. The work is deeper. I mean, I have entire programs dedicated to this for a reason, because I help you overcome these programs that you have. And I help you live not just in a way that someone told you that you should live, but in a way that's truly authentic to you. Is having trouble truly being authentic to you. So this is where I want you to start. We start, even when we don't have the entire process, you start someplace. And if you are looking for help with that process, please reach out to me. Reach out to me. You can certainly book a human design reading. We'll link up to that in the show notes as well. If you were just looking to get some insight into your design chart, or if you're ready to have guidance and support in building a business strategy and also getting out of your own way and living in alignment, then the Limitless Entrepreneur is for you. And you can find all of that on my website. We'll link up all of those links for you in the show notes. But ask yourself that question. Start there and download the deconditioning guide. This is how it starts. This is how you can start to live where you feel free. And this is how results start to come and you feel like you didn't really do anything. This is how it isn't about the output. This is about the internal change that you create that creates external change in your life. Okay? So go to all of those links. And remember, we're also doing a little contest here. If you would like to have a free human design reading here on the show, get a little mini reading with me, a little HD coaching session with me on this podcast, please leave a review for the show on whatever podcast platform you subscribe to. We prefer iTunes because that is where we get the most traffic. But if you are listening someplace else, that review will be fine. Take a review. Leave a review, take a screenshot of that review, and then post it to your Instagram stories and tag me. That will be your entry into this contest. We'll be doing these HD coaching sessions on the show. I think our goal is to do them once a month. So please submit by sharing that screenshot in your stories, tagging me, and that will be your entry in, and we'll let you know if you won. I hope that I get to see you here. I hope I get to dive into your chart with you because it's one of my favorite things to do in the world. Remember, you are only limited by the limitations that you accept. And when you stop accepting those limitations, that is when you become limitless. So go out there, be limitless, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode. If you loved this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you want to stay in touch with us, we would love to have you as a part of our Facebook community, Practical Manifestors. It's a community for process-driven women looking for clear and actionable steps to embodying a life of wealth and alignment. Join us at Practical Manifestors in Facebook or go to www.innerceogroup.com.